from the Grand Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles, California, Top Rank Incorporated in association with Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, this Bud's for you, presents main event, 12 rounds for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship of the world. Ring officials assigned by the World Boxing Council, President Jose Suleiman, supervisor in attendance, Sam Macias. Your California judges at ringside are, from West Covina, Marty Denkin, from Buena Park, Chuck Hassett, and from Huntington Beach, James Jenkin. Your referee for this event, from San Jose, Dave Nelson. Here are the principals. First, in the red corner to my right, El Hijo de El Salvador, now making his home in Bellflower, California. Ladies and gentlemen, he is wearing los colores de la bandera de El Salvador. His professional record reads 25 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw, and 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Carlitos Famoso Hernandez. Yeah! His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the white trunks, blue trim. Professional record, 36 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw, 17 wins by way of knockout. He hails from East LA, California, the WBC Super Featherweight Champion of the world, Gennaro Chicanito Hernandez. 12 rounds for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship of the world.
Okay, man, listen, you've had your instructions. Let's follow those instructions. Protect yourself at all times. All right, shake hands. Good luck to both. Okay.
The referee is Dave Nelson. Both of these fighters from South Central Los Angeles. Gennaro Hernandez, raised in East LA. Carlos Famous Hernandez, or Famoso Hernandez, lives in Bellflower, California, a suburb here in Los Angeles. It's Gennaro, who last fought June 14th. An performance, really, and a decision victory over Anatoly Alexandrov. The styles just didn't mix in that fight.
He said in that fight, he showed up overconfident. Gennaro did. He said, I was just going through the motions, something he does not want to do tonight. Look at this fast start from Carlos.
Yes, Famous Hernandez all over him, and Emmanuel Stewart has said he wants to make him even more aggressive. He wants to make Famous Hernandez a little Roberto Duran, and now Bernstein, that's how he's starting off.
Well, he is doing that, and you know, much is made of the lack of defense by Famoso Hernandez, but the fact is, when you can crowd a fighter like he's doing, it makes it tough for him to hit you. But you also have to give yourself enough room to punch.
Well, 90% of the power of the punch is right in the end, that final snap. And what Carlos is trying to do is smother that snap. David Nelson doesn't like that.
Giving him a warning, really, for using his head, and Gennaro Hernandez concerned about a clash of heads here.
Sure, a taller fighter should be. A taller will catch the smaller fighter's point on his head in your face, and it'll cause a cut.
Famous all over Gennaro here in the early going.
Oh, there's a good uppercut from Gennaro. Gennaro has to get that jab going. Keep Carlos out at bay.
You know, the feeling in this room, the tension is palpable, and I think that is part of what made this start so quick.
Well, all the talk of friendship has quite obviously gone right out the window here in round 1. Nice left hook by Gennaro, caught Carlos coming in.
Oh, the best fights are always between friends, because you don't want your friend to outdo you. You don't mind somebody you don't know to outdo you, but your friend, you can't let him outdo you.
With this kind of style now that Hernandez, Carlos Famous Hernandez is putting on Gennaro, he's trying to eliminate the reach advantage, I think, by Gennaro by staying right on top of him.
But Hernandez is such a good counterpuncher, and we are seeing evidence of that early in this fight, and it is very important for Carlos to get by that counterpunching so he can work on the inside.
But the uppercuts are what's causing so much damage to the face of Carlos. When Carlos moves in, look how he bends over asking for those uppercuts, and Gennaro obliges.
Gennaro is landing the cleaner punches here.
What a
Between the two.
round.
It's
Wow.
red hot. There's been no feeling out process whatsoever.
They know, these two know each other well.
Looks like a little bit of swelling on the right eye of Carlos already. Nice left hook by Gennaro.
Gennaro Hernandez is getting away with hooking with the left hooker. Famous has presumably the better left hook, and yet Gennaro has done better with that punch so far.
It is a famous left hook.
True.
Famous for that left hook. That is his favorite weapon. He says in the ring, I have an American style. I'm a brawler. I'm aggressive. I try to get in there and slug, but I am trying to mix in some more boxing.
Step back. Step back. Let's go.
Likes to go to the body, does Famoso.
Well, you've just seen a red-hot first round.
Yeah, what a round. A lot of pressure and a lot of punches.
Beautiful, baby. You're nice. You ain't got enough strength to hold you off. You got him fighting, trying to keep it up because he's got no power. But you make him fight faster than he wants to fight. See, he's not able to fight a kick. You're making him have to fight desperate. And what happens, you're going to crowd him and you're going to catch him, right? The short left hook. All right, and it's good tired, you're fighting a good fight. Crowding and making him fight faster than he wants to fight. You understand? Fighting a damn good fight. You crowd him, he's not catching with shots. And if he keeps shooting those lunging shots, see, he can't punch as effective inside because he's got long arms. I didn't mean to look at me. You're all right. Just follow my instructions. Take it easy. You look beautiful. Look very good. You're crowding him. I don't think he can go to hell. Okay?
Here is the fighting on the inside. Gennaro Hernandez wanting very much to use the uppercuts and fairly effective with that punch. But there's the left hook in the inside that Manuel Stewart's talking about for Carlos.
Round 2 scheduled for 12. Gennaro Hernandez, the champion in the white trunks, the blue trim. He's 5'11". Famous Hernandez, Carlos Famous Hernandez.
Screen box.
Much shorter, as you can see. Screen right. Wearing the colors of El Salvador on the front of his trunks, the colors of the United States on the back of his trunks.
Oh, and listen to that crowd. That's what you fight for. Mexico. They are all cheering for Gennaro Hernandez. Mexico. That is a great feeling when you hear the crowd chanting that. And it spurs you on. Even as a challenger, you want to quiet the crowd. Carlos Hernandez.
See if the fight settles down here a little bit. Some nervous energy burned off in the first round, too, Al, by Famous Hernandez.
I agree, and it was intriguing, I think, that Manuel Stewart was happy with what he did. He's willing to accept some of those counter punches, as she said, to make Hernandez fight at a pace, that is Gennaro, at a pace he doesn't want to fight at.
Yeah, and look who's backing up. Look who's boxing. It's Gennaro using some lateral movement.
What he did. He's willing to accept some of those counter punches, as she said, to make Hernandez fight at a pace, that is Gennaro, at a pace he doesn't want to fight at.
Yeah, and look who's backing up. Look who's boxing. It's Gennaro using some lateral movement. Oh, good uppercuts on the inside from Gennaro. Going to the outside is Carlos. Oh. Up and down.
Famous at first clamped onto that hand and then came to a chopping right, but a good number of punches landed by Gennaro in close. Those are clean shots, and Carlos felt them.
Oh, I tell you, when you get hit with shots like that, it just drains you. It takes your power.
The uppercut, a very big weapon for Gennaro, but maybe this is the kind Carlos wants. We'll see.
Remember that both of these fighters have outstanding chins. They really don't go down, but Carlos is getting hit with a number of clean shots here.
Sometimes it's a misnomer to think that tall fighters can't fight on the inside. Interestingly, Emmanuel Stewart had Tommy Hearns, of course, who was a much better inside fighter than people gave him credit for.
And this is a fighter in Gennaro who loves fighting on the inside. He would prefer that. This is a more enjoyable way to fight. The outside fighting, the rounds go by so slowly. Inside, they go by rapidly.
Gennaro has been known often in his career to fight off the ropes. He does it very well. Left-right combination by Carlos Famous Hernandez. Oh, an uppercut. Remember, Gennaro's a guy who doesn't get hit clean in most of his fights.
I think after almost 2 rounds, it's safe to say this is a good stylistic matchup. I think so.
Good for us. Bad for them. Good for us. Exciting first couple of rounds.
And many of the fans just going berserk here in the Olympic Auditorium. As Famous Hernandez doing a good job here, keeping Gennaro pinioned up against the ropes. Both of these fighters are landing clean shots. Wow.
A cut.
Están pegando muy bien por dentro. ¿Viste? Pero tienes que pegar ahí también. ¿Entendiste?
Our interpreter is Ricardo Jimenez.
Mándame la vaselina que tiene para la enfocada. Dame la vaselina que tiene para la enfocada.
Give me the Vaseline.
Estás pegando bien por dentro, pero también hay que pegar arriba.
You're fighting good
Ya
inside.
pegaste bien.
But don't let him get hit so much.
Hay que rematar abajo.
This is how damaging these uppercuts are. Look how they just freeze Carlos in his tracks. Gennaro Hernandez was so effective with those uppercuts in the second round that Carlos used them later in the round. Realizing how valuable those were, here is Carlos pouring it on toward the end of the round, coming back with the uppercut that he had gotten hit with previous.
Well, Al, who do you score that one for?
Debilitating weapon.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Gennaro won the round because he did so much good work in the first 2/3.
That last minute was a nice minute for Famous Hernandez, though, as we start round 3. It's scheduled for 12. WBC Super Featherweight title on the line. I'm Rich Milano, along with Sean O'Grady and Al Bernstein, ringside at the Grand Olympic Auditorium. And we have seen outright war here in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, and Carlos trying to pick it up where he left it off in the second.
All right, break, step back. Break. Get in the break.
Carlos Hernandez told us that he is a little bit like Evander Holyfield, he said, in the sense that he needs to get hit before he gets into the fight. Well, he should be into it now.
Gennaro Hernandez has been champion since 1991. Most of that time he won the WBA 130-pound title with a TKO of Daniel Londos over in France, and has been WBA and then WBC champion. But interestingly enough, he only had 3 amateur fights. That's unbelievable that he has come this far with so little schooling in the amateur ranks.
He was 2-1, and right away when he became a pro, he started to learn his craft. He was a pro very young. And we are seeing some of the best infighting you are likely to see in any bout.
Gennaro has always had a professional style. He turned pro and has been fighting pro for 13 years, making his pro debut.
But he got tagged there with the right hand. And Famous is having some success there, Sean, coming over the top with right hands to Gennaro.
Yeah, he goes under and then over the top. Watch how he muscles his way in. He goes under with the uppercut and then way over the top, like right over the top and then under. Gennaro giving it back, though. Oh, what a war. This match so far could have taken place in a shoebox.
You know, Carlos Hernandez is in danger of forgetting a very important sequence of punches. He's getting away from throwing the double left hook. There's the one. He needs to come up with that to the head.
Wow. Well, this surely will be a battle of attrition. Gennaro weighed in at 128.5 yesterday, the lightest he's been in 6 years, and I was just wondering if perhaps he might have overtrained and if he has all of it with him here tonight in the ring.
Well, if he has, he's in trouble because he is getting hit with a lot of body shots, and there's much pressure being put on him by Carlos. And that's Emmanuel Stewart's game plan. Make Gennaro fight more than he wants to in these rounds.
Yeah, and hit the body. The shots will really pay off if this fight goes into the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th round. The body shots accumulate. All of a sudden, your opponent's worried about his body and not his chin.
Good move by Gennaro Hernandez. A pivot to his right, and then he came up with a little left uppercut.
He has been using that effectively in these first 3 rounds, but he has to score when he moves over. Wow.
Good. I wonder if any of their gym sessions in the days they were sparring were like that.
And your eyes held up good. No more problems, okay? Let's get on his eye again. Perfect fight. Don't change a fucking thing. Stay just the way you are, because you're stronger and younger, and as the fight goes on, this man's going to get tired, okay? His body's not as strong as yours. Keep right in there with your short shots and looking for it, okay?
Be careful, I'm going to leave it at head.
Fighting a beautiful fight.
Yeah, coming up.
You're coming on, but the fight is moving in your direction, okay? He's hitting on points, but it's moving in your direction. And keep him right there where you're standing tight. It looked perfect fight.
Oh, good to hear the sublime voice of Emanuel Stewart. Carlos backing Gennaro to the ropes and unloading. Good work from Carlos, not only getting him to the ropes, but also keeping him there. And he kept him there throughout that third round when he pounded. Another good round for Carlos Hernandez. Gennaro has to get going.
Let me ask Al Bernstein here, Al, if you agree with Emanuel Stewart that the fight is moving in Carlos' direction.
I think generally that's true. Emanuel Stewart's not given the hyperbole in between rounds. He tells his fighter the straight truth. He wants them to pressure Gennaro Hernandez. He believes, as he said, that the younger man will out. But here's where Gennaro is doing the right thing. Get the fight back in the center of the ring. Don't lay on the ropes constantly.
He'd like to use that long reach of his and his boxing ability, and Gennaro is a great strategist and tactician in that ring, but Carlos Famous Hernandez is making him fight.
Fight on the inside. If Gennaro could get Carlos out on the outside, he could use some of his reach and use some of his power, like this right here. See,
that's beautiful work by Gennaro.
Very nice work. He's stepping over to the side. He's turning Famoso. Really with debilitating shots. Look at that left hook from Gennaro. Gennaro punching down with his punches. He's got all of his weight of his upper body on every shot.
You know, what's making this such an interesting bout is that neither man is a huge puncher. And so as a result, we're able to see a lot of punches landed, a lot of them big, but neither man being hurt bad.
Carlos is exhibiting some puffiness underneath the eyes, especially the right eye.
Yeah, for good reason. He's caught a number of uppercuts. You know, when you hit your opponent in the nose, it makes both of his eyes water, blurring his vision. Also, you hit him in the nose, make both eyes swell. Wow.
Emanuel Stewart now training Famous Hernandez. Prior to that, Robert Alcazar trained him. Prior to that, Jackie McCoy trained him. Sean, do you see that? Oh, that's some uppercut.
You know, you see a turn in this fight. You see the tide shifting now for Gennaro. At the first of this round, he started boxing more, getting some distance on his punches. He's got Famoso hurt.
Yeah, and he was keeping him on the end of his punches there, which is difficult to do when you've got a guy pouring in on you the way that Famous
watch
is.
the head. He's going to get a warning. The referee came over to Carlos's corner between rounds and said, "Watch your head." Carlos has slowed down this round. In these championship fights, the fight doesn't start until after the third round, and how true that is in this fight.
Carlos is working the body a little bit more now in position to do so. But the fact of the matter is, Gennaro is standing now more in fifth. Still having an excellent round now.
A good little left hook by Carlos in close, but he's being overwhelmed basically in this round by the volume of punches being thrown by Gennaro Hernandez.
Overworked. Did he punch himself out? Final 10 seconds, number 4. A round that maybe this fight has turned, shifted gears. Now Gennaro seems to be landing at will. Stop.
Bell ends round number 4. Rudy Hernandez is the chief trainer and will speak to the world champion Gennaro Hernandez in his corner. Our translator is Ricardo Jimenez.
Mucho mejor. He's getting better. Give him some water.
No.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Give him some water. Throw more. Use your right too. Up and down. If you could get a hook in there, that'd be nice too.
Here is Gennaro Hernandez landing the counter punches that are so important for him. Keeping enough distance. There you see when the fight's in the center of the ring, Gennaro is very effective.
Round number 5, scheduled for 12, WBC Super Featherweight Championship. The two combatants looked at each other and nodded their heads in a nod of respect before the round started.
The question, I guess, is can Gennaro Hernandez box like he did in the last round throughout the rest of this fight? If he can, he's in business, but if he can't, he'll be facing more of this assault from Carlos.
Gennaro is not a holder, a tire, so on the inside, he doesn't tie up to allow the referee to break the two. Mexican fighters are notorious for not tying up. Well, here I just stopped saying that, they go into a clinch. But in Mexico, the rule is against the rules to clinch. In fact, the fans get on you if you clinch. They whistle.
Famous Hernandez is not applying the pressure this round that he has in the previous rounds. He was standing there posing in front of Gennaro, and Gennaro made him pay for it.
The other thing, Carlos, now there you see Carlos jabbed his way in. When he does that, as with most aggressive fighters, he's much more effective. Hasn't done that a lot in this bout, however.
But now he is moving in so close that all he does is he ties up when he gets in. If he could punch and keep punching without moving so close, he wouldn't tie up. See, he works his way in, and he stops punching. Good left hook.
Carlos has been more or less lunging in this round. Gennaro.
The number of punches that Carlos is throwing now, way down in the last couple of rounds. So even though Emmanuel feels it will be Gennaro that slows down, so far it's been Carlos.
Especially in this round.
Yeah, the intensity has subsided from the power on his punches.
And there you see Carlos trying to maul Gennaro Hernandez. Good left hook by Famous. And Gennaro took it very well. Another right hand by Famous.
Carlos is underusing his left hook. I really think they want more of those. That punch is there for him against Gennaro.
Why is that?
Because on the inside, he's an excellent double left hooker, and Gennaro's always looking to throw that right uppercut.
There it was.
Nifty move there, Sean, by Gennaro to spin around and get himself on the outside and Famous up against the rope.
Stay out of that corner. You spin your opponent around, put him in the corner, and then you... Oh, you got to watch the top of the head of Carlos.
It looks like Gennaro's getting a little annoyed with that. Another combination by Famous. Pretty good punches there by Carlos.
Rich, you have seen many classics here on the West Coast and broadcast many. This one, you can already tell, will be one that the fans out here will remember for a long time.
Right, this is right up there with some of the best. Mondo Ramos and Sugar Ramos right in this building as we see Famous Hernandez absorb some punches and come firing back.
Where you made your little move on him. All you had to do was shoot a short right hand. You're going to catch it with him. He's wide open for that right hand. Keep shooting. Don't worry about it. If he's getting tired, his judge going to be off. Going to catch him with the right hand. That's going to be the key to this fight.
Keep that. There you go. I like that hook in my head. Beautiful. You know.
Towel.
Don't blow your nose, you understand?
Sure. Fight a good fight.
Do it down. Keep going down on him.
They want more button shots.
Here we go now, very fast-paced bout, and the fans have been roaring since the start. Round 6, and of course it's scheduled for 12. The 130-pound championship on the line. Let's see if Famous Hernandez applies more of that pressure that he did in the first few rounds. He let up a little bit in that last.
The swelling around Carlos's eyes could become a serious problem here as this fight goes on.
Carlos takes a lot of punches and almost every fight, though.
Look at how well he can jab when he wants to. That set up the right hand. Carlos Hernandez has a better jab than he gives himself credit for. When he jabs his way in, much more effective.
Now Emmanuel Stewart is still the eternal optimist in that corner.
Well, I think he feels that they're going to get to Gennaro Hernandez, that he's going to start slowing. That 31-year-old body, those 31-year-old legs won't be able to keep the bout in the center of the ring. We'll see. And it is still fairly early in this bout. We haven't reached the halfway point yet. Gennaro does not know what it is to lose in title defense, defended his previous title 8 times and this one won. And in a certain way, that history helps him because it gives him a little extra motivation and I think gives him experience in this situation.
Good combination by, but look at Famous, answer right back with that overhand right.
Yeah, you know, he slowed down back in that 4th round, but then I think he picked it up in the 5th where he left it off in the first 3. And he's continuing here in the 6th round. He's definitely gotten his 2nd win. Oh, but
good combination by Gennaro Hernandez. Famous stood there and took it and fires right back with a left hook to the body.
Punches like that just take the wind out of you, takes the steam out of you.
And you know what? There was a nice uppercut, a low blow by Famous Hernandez. I got to tell you, for 2 guys that are friends, there's heads, there's elbows, there's low blows. They're going at it.
Just momentarily there, Gennaro switched southpaw.
What's a low blow between friends? What's a headbutt between friends?
They've had many gym wars, these two.
Yeah, mutual respect, great admiration for each other.
This is a Rich Carlos has gotten more done than in the last couple rounds. It may have
for each other.
This is a Rich Carlos has gotten more done than in the last couple rounds. It may have won this round to maybe bring things a little bit back into focus for him. Very close round.
Now Hernandez gets it a little further where he can get some punching range as he backs off.
And toward the final minute, toward the final bell of this round, Gennaro coming on stronger. Championship rounds. The champion will know how important those final few seconds of a round are.
Nice overhand right by Gennaro. Ends the round. And a long walk for Carlos Famous and Hernandez.
Keep in here.
7th round coming up. Okay, good. You're looking good. This fight is just halfway over, okay? Your right hand is your T-punch. You're going to him more with the right hand to the body too much. He's looking at you. You're doing that, he's trying to catch you with a right uppercut. Try to move in. Shoot that right hand lead just like you're shooting it at me in the ring, okay? Get the right hand lead off and just the same move. That's the shot to catch this man. You still are strong. You got all this weight, and you're going into the last half of the fight, okay? You're looking good. When you're out here moving around, you're looking good. You're losing on points. You're losing on points. That's why you got to go for the knockout. But don't worry, but you're making him burn up a lot of energy, though. Okay? You got him throwing a lot of shots.
They want him to go for the knockout. He was going for the knockout. Well, Gennaro was. And then a little low blow from Famoso. Unintentional low blow.
And we begin round 7 here at the Grand Olympic Auditorium. There's the lead right that you heard Emmanuel Stewart talking about in the corner. Throw the right hand. He kept telling Carlos, but he was also honest, Al, about, hey, you're losing on points.
Well, I think it's too late to say that he has to win by knockout, though. He probably is down maybe 4 rounds to 2 or in that general time frame. There's time for Carlos Hernandez to get back into this. There's some frustration by Gennaro, kind of pushing the gloves to the face of Carlos. They call it lacing.
Well, Gennaro, of course, would like to sit back and be able to fight his stereotypical fight, which is to be able to jab and put fighters on the end of his punches, and he's so proficient at that Carlos has been unwilling to let him do that. And as Sean pointed out, Gennaro definitely can't fight on the inside.
The lead right that Stewart talked about is something that Carlos is a little loath to throw. Instead, he wants to go to the body first. And I talked about the left hook. I do believe that's an important punch, but it's important after he gets on the inside, Carlos. And the lead right is a good way to get on the inside.
Nice combination. Yep, then that backed up. See, I felt those.
And look how Gennaro is punching down with his weight on every shot, like that.
Famous had to take a couple of step backs and correct himself after absorbing that little pummeling from Gennaro Hernandez. And Gennaro's anxious to get out of that clinch and go back to punching.
Yeah, Carlos is hurt.
In the center of the ring, when he has room to punch, Gennaro can control this bout. It is up to Carlos to make it different.
Well, there were some who questioned the toughness of Gennaro Hernandez after the fight with De La Hoya because he retired in his corner at the end of 6 rounds after suffering the broken nose. I felt at the time it was a very mature decision on his part. because his nose was shattered. What the ring physician said was the worst broken nose he'd ever seen.
Broken in 22 places, Rich.
And
I didn't realize you had 22 places in your nose.
And he knew at that point, I think, that he had to come back and fight another day.
A warning by Dave Nelson to Carlos for using his head. I think one more warning, and Dave Nelson will rightfully take a point away from Carlos. There's some head movement for Carlos, and that has been lacking in this bout. That's why Gennaro's been able to pick him apart from outside.
Look at the hands of Carlos, too.
At this distance, Carlos, I'm afraid, is a dead duck at this distance. Gennaro will control the fight completely if it stays at long range like this. He'll use that educated jab of his and his ring generalship to dominate. And Carlos looks discouraged to me as he takes a walk around the ring.
He looks arm weary. Hands down, breathing heavily, mouth open.
How you feeling, baby? Looking good. Put the hell down. I know that. I didn't mind you taking a look down and let him. He's gonna die. You're making him throw a lot of shots. If you see a guy, this has got about 5 more rounds to go, okay? So you fight a good fight. The right hand lead is gonna be the key. He's just barely making him miss it by pulling back, but it's getting closer. Getting closer. Same way that it was when Vince Hillary.
Lay off that head now.
Yeah, you're right. I know, Ralph. I'm listening. Okay? You're just missing him down.
Here is Carlos trying to get on the inside, but facing this extraordinarily good counter-punching by Gennaro, and not moving his head and not throwing punches. And as you said, Rich, he's a sitting duck for the jab and the reach of Gennaro.
In the corner, on his box.
All right, here we go now, round number 8. Emmanuel Stewart there, Sean, was encouraging Gennaro Hernandez, the champion, the taller of the two fighters. So you see with his back to you right now, he was, with Carlos facing the camera, and Emmanuel Stewart was encouraging him to throw the lead right. You think that's a good strategy?
If he will throw that lead right, remember how effective he was with that in those first 2 rounds? You got to get those hands out of your pocket and go back to the uppercuts. They were working well early in this fight. He's got to apply the pressure like he was in those first 3 rounds. Good left hook from Gennaro.
You know what? Gennaro has become a very good clubhouse lawyer in this bout, too. Constantly motioning to Dave Nelson about the head of Carlos, looking for him to take a point away. That's the lead right by Famoso, but Gennaro came back from it.
All right, break. Step back. Here we go. Step back, step back.
It does not look intentional, the headbutting, because what Carlos is doing is he's trying to get in close. He's trying to get inside, right? Nose to nose, forming. Put your...
Oh, that's a nice jab by... I don't know what was upsetting to Carlos there. He got tagged with a real good left jab, and he's rubbing the back of his head, but he was hit with a clean punch.
Well, you're taught to throw punches through your opponent, not to them. Maybe that's what happened.
Right
all the way right through the back of his head.
Now, that would be
what a shot.
Gennaro appears to be in control here. Will he go for a knockout against his good friend? That is a question that needs to be answered.
Well, there is no way that Carlos can win this bout on the outside moving backwards. Gennaro could win it that way, but certainly not Carlos, and that's what he's doing this round.
The crowd beginning to get on Famous.
Well, if you begin to retreat against a fighter like Hernandez, makes it easier for him to KO you. He's too good.
All right, break.
When Carlos Bay of Vargas, he said Vargas offered him some advice. When you have a fighter hurt or you feel like you can gain a big advantage, you better go after him. Carlos was not able to do that early in this bout when he did have some good moments against Gennaro. Will he regret that?
Good combination by Gennaro. Then he comes back, punctuates it with a right hand to the body, and Gennaro Hernandez with a high volume of punches, just not letting up. Carlos trying to fight back and landing a few of his own, but still, Gennaro dominating.
This is a level of competition Carlos has not seen before, and we are into the championship rounds or close to them.
I think he did step up in the fight you referred to, Al, that Goyo Vargas fight. He showed that was a breakthrough fight for him, but this is another big step up.
Ya es cuestión de tiempo, ¿viste? Ya nada más es cuestión de tiempo. Dame
It's a
suelo.
question of time. You got him.
Yeah, take that shit.
You got him ready to go. Just keep doing that. Don't change left so much. When he gets close to you, that's when you need to hit him with the right.
This round, we got to pick up the pace on him now. True for you. Turn the heat on this round. We got to pick it up. Got to turn him on. Whether they land or not, let them go this round, okay? You got to let them go. You're the puncher. Let the shots go this round. This is the round, okay. More water. Got to let the shots go this round, okay? Let them go. Whether they land or not, let the shots go. Let's start firing now. What round is this coming up now? What round is this? Ninth round coming up? Okay.
17 KOs in his 36 wins.
Hold him back, but let him go this round. All wide open.
Could be difficult to take out a foe like Gennaro Hernandez. Gennaro Hernandez.
And I think he just wants to put pressure back on Hernandez again and not let Hernandez-Gennaro control the fight in mid-ring the way that he was doing.
And I also think, while I suggested earlier, Emmanuel Stewart is not given to too much gamesmanship. In this case, I think he wants to put it back into Carlos's mind when he said, "You're the puncher." Unfortunately, Gennaro has been the puncher the last couple of rounds.
So we're in the 9th round, and let's see if Carlos Famous Hernandez does let his hands go, as Emmanuel told him to do in the corner.
This is a boxing crowd. They started off with that Mexico chant because they see what is happening in this fight. They see the tide has shifted.
Say breaks in the back. That's all right. Sit back.
Of course, neither fighter is from Mexico, but Gennaro is a Mexican-American. They were both born in Los Angeles. Nice jab by Gennaro. That's a great stick. What a weapon that's been throughout his career for him.
Yeah, jab. You get your opponent out at the end of your punches. You put him out there at the end, and then you crack with the right hand.
And now Hernandez just able to maneuver Carlos around.
Carlos very loath to throw that lead right, and when he did throw it a moment ago, it landed. Before, he has been unable to really land that punch in the last 4 rounds.
It appears as though it is the younger fighter who is wearing down.
Yeah, but who looks like the younger fighter? Gennaro looks younger, even though he's 31 to Carlos is 26.
Also, this bout changed in about the 4th or 5th round when Gennaro was able to take it into the center of the ring and fight it in these terms, not against the ropes.
All right, break. Sit back.
That's the experience of being a champion.
Break. Sit back.
Sean, why aren't these rushes of Famous as effective as they were earlier?
Because he's not punching when he's rushing. Remember in those first 3 rounds, he was moving in and he was like punching while he's coming in. Now he's just running in to tie up. And
1 point.
he will get a point for the head.
Well, you were right, Al. It was a matter of time.
1 point. Hit.
1 point deducted from the total of Famous Hernandez for headbutting.
And that is hardly something he needs at this juncture in the fight. But Dave Nelson, I thought, showed great restraint and finally did take the point away.
Al, Gennaro just continues to catch him walking right in with uppercuts and jabs.
And one of the things, the big differences is Gennaro is throwing many combinations. And the feeling in the corner of Carlos that he would wear down apparently is not the case because he's throwing a lot of punches.
He's doing a fine job of punching going backwards, allowing Carlos to run into every...
Rich, you alluded to the performance against Alexandrov, not maybe Gennaro's best, but I'm going to tell you what, tonight he has picked it up a notch. He had to.
Oh, there's no question about it. And this is a heck of a lot more exciting fight than that one was.
Let's go all over now, baby, okay? You got to let the punches go. You know what you're doing? You're trying to go there and wait and block, and then punch. Punch as you're moving in. You're letting him get all his punches off, and that's why you're getting your problem. You understand? He's getting 3 and 4 shots out before you do. You got to punch as you get in range. As soon as you get in range and you see him move, let your shots go. Don't try to block, and then punch. Okay? Let him go. You're trying to wait.
Here's where we had the point deduction. Carlos using his head and really using it there. I think that was one of many, many times he has used that as a weapon, and this time Dave Nelson finally said, no, that was enough.
Let the shots go. Don't let him get all those shots off first, okay?
We come to round number 10 to look at Gennaro Hernandez, who is in all probability well ahead on points, and I think Carlos Famous Hernandez knows that is the case.
Carlos a little bit of difficulty slowly getting off the stool.
Stop the punching. No more punching on the break. No more punching on the break. You got it? This box.
Oh, come on, it's a fight.
These guys are friends. I'd hate to see it if they were enemies.
Ain't that the truth?
All right, break. Step back. Break.
Now this fight has become difficult. Difficult in the sense that Carlos just moving in,
Easy.
not punching, moves in there. Gennaro Hernandez just ties him up.
One of the impressive things always about Gennaro is the fact that he does punch in combination. And he's done that very well here tonight.
And Carlos would be well served by doing that.
Break.
Saw a little smile cross Gennaro's face there. I'm not exactly sure what he was thinking about.
Gennaro Hernandez is a very marketable fighter at this point in his career, and we're seeing evidence why tonight. He is a good boxer that's also very vulnerable to be in bouts like this one, and so when you're that way, you can be very marketable.
Famous is coming forward and throwing that right-hand lead a little more, letting his hands go a little more in this round.
Break. Step back.
But you have to land a Sunday shot, I think, to turn things around. He's looking for that right hand.
Watch your heads. Break.
Threw that one over a lazy jab of Gennaro, and that's what Stewart really badly wants him to do.
Break.
I think he wants to also, but doesn't realize that moving in so close, he can't do that.
Break.
Hernandez is an expert at maneuvering his opponent around the ring, and he's shown a lot of that tonight. Once the fight settled down a little after those first 2 wild rounds.
The other thing that Carlos has not done effectively in the last 3 or 4 rounds is cut the ring off on Gennaro. He has allowed Gennaro to move around the ring, following him around.
Yeah, staying right in front of him. When you cut the ring on, you make your opponent work.
There's that educated jab of Hernandez again.
Right on the point of the nose, right in the front of the face.
Break. Step
That
back.
hurts.
Step back. Just step back.
You feel every one of these punches tomorrow. But you know what? It feels worse the day after tomorrow. Then you finally start feeling better. Both of these fighters will wake up tomorrow and think to themselves, what did I do?
Break.
Well, Famous Hernandez will have to only look in the mirror to know what he did, because his face showing the sights of battle some.
Continue to move to your left, ¿oíste? Even when he holds on to you, when you get stuck, hold on to him even tighter. Don't struggle with him, ¿oíste? Cuando lo tengas a distancia, you got to continue.
When you have it in them, when you're close to him, you have to hit him. Why are you looking at him? You have to do better than that. You have to do better. Keep throwing your left and keep moving left.
Because your head on point, you only can win by knockout.
So a lot of punches.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Emmanuel Stewart told him,
Power shot.
told Carlos Famous Hernandez, you can only win by a knockout. We have 2 rounds remaining. And as we head into the 11th and 12th rounds now, this is a distance that Gennaro Hernandez has been so many times.
And Carlos Hernandez has never been to the 11th round, so for him this is alien territory, and on top of that, alien territory that he reaches after having taken a pretty good pounding over the first 10 rounds.
Yeah, those 2 rounds after 10 rounds with Gennaro Hernandez are much more difficult than 2 rounds out having that in front of it.
Gennaro has been this distance, the 12-round distance, 6 times in his career.
Carlos been the 10-round distance on 5 different occasions.
Nice lead right by Carlos, and he gets Gennaro up against the ropes. Gennaro, though, uses his escapability, though, to slide off the ropes and get away. And Carlos is going for it. Here comes Famous back into the fight.
And he comes in throwing punches. And the head.
I think Famous Hernandez understands he's got to go for the gusto right here.
All right, break, let him go. Easy. Here we go. Sit back.
Oh, strong combination by Hernandez. By Gennaro Hernandez, I guess. I guess I better make that
very
clear.
hardest fight. Normally, somebody else has a different last name, don't they?
Yes. I guess I better make that
very
clear.
hardest fight. Normally, somebody else has a different last name, don't they?
Carlos started very strong in this round, but now Gennaro again is catching him coming in, and Carlos feels the need to back off.
Well, he's been taking too many shots. You take a hard punch like that, it really changes your outlook. Sometimes it'll change your chin.
People were looking at Gennaro coming into this bout, and I think after the first 3 or 4 rounds, maybe more so even, to see if there were signs of erosion by him at 31. Not tonight.
I agree. He looks very, very good here this evening. And Gennaro Hernandez, of course, has had so many problems with his hands. He's had surgery 4 times on his hands. Many fighters have retired as a result of that. Jeff Fennick, you recall, had the pink hands that had forced him out of boxing. But Gennaro has continued through all of those surgeries to continue on and maintain.
Anybody who is a heavy puncher has difficulty with their hands. And it seems to be more prevalent in those who are tall and slender, like Gennaro is. You know, your hands just weren't made to hit people with. You occasionally catch your opponent on the top of the head or the point of the elbow.
3 minutes to go in the fight.
What are you waiting for? When you have him right there, you're not throwing him. You're making the fight harder than it is. He's right there. Why are you making it so difficult on yourself? Keep throwing the right. Keep throwing the right. What are you waiting for?
You only your volume of punches is too low. If you pick up your volume, even the jab, that even works when you're doing it. Okay, we'll fight, baby. Let's go. We got 1 more minute to go. There's no fucking around. Let's go, okay? Let's go.
Seconds out.
3 minutes of drama remain.
And final round.
Hernandez versus Hernandez.
All right, let's go. All right, now let's box, huh?
Boy, you know what? With all the headbutts, with all the low blows, they're ready to embrace before the 12th round.
Well, listen, they'll probably have to be over at each other's houses having a barbecue this weekend.
Oh, these are 2 amiable in the ring. They really genuinely like one another, even though they're fighting trying to knock the other out.
And you know, it does show that boxing is a sport, and it's not a fight, because you have 2 guys in here who know each other. They're even pushing the envelope of the rules, but still, they've got respect.
Well, and not just respect for each other, but respect for a lot of other people. These 2 are unfailingly polite and respectful and accessible. These are 2 of the good guys in boxing.
Emmanuel Stewart's so frustrated telling Carlos, even the jab, anything, just throw as you come in.
Break.
Difficult to throw when that jab is in your face, though, and that's the problem facing Carlos.
The only problem he has Gennaro's gloves plastered to the point of his nose.
And And what a huge strategic moment it was in this bout in the 4th round when Gennaro began to move and didn't lay on the ropes. It changed everything in this bout. And he's really reaping the benefits of that now because Carlos has never found a way to get him against the ropes again and to fight this bout at close quarters.
So those first couple of rounds, first 2-3 rounds, he had Gennaro involved in a pure sixer, and that's what he wanted to do.
And in the 5th round, was able to get back to that a little bit, but since then, Rich, it has been all Gennaro staying in the center of the ring and doing what we're seeing here. Oh my, got whacked that time, though.
As he right, now Hernandez backs him off into the ropes with the left. 1 minute to go.
Carlos having a pretty good round here because Gennaro has not stunned him in this round like he has in the earlier rounds. Now chanting Chicanito, the nickname of Gennaro Hernandez.
His brother Rudy was a fighter before Gennaro was. He was nicknamed Chicano, and it was just natural that Gennaro began that he would be Chicanito. Carlos still coming forward, still trying to land that big shot. He has 20 seconds or so to do it.
Break! Easy, step back, easy, nice and easy. Here we go.
It has been a fast-paced fight, at times a war. Good action between these two buddies.
Yeah, they're friends again.
Good fight.
And there is Gennaro Hernandez, confidence in his corner.
Yeah, like Al said, there was a good turning point in this fight back in the 4th round. However, I thought in the 5th, Carlos Hernandez came back. But here in the 6th, Gennaro Hernandez took complete control with debilitating punches like these. Right to the chin, just taking all the steam out of Carlos Hernandez. And from that point on, it seemed like Gennaro Hernandez had control of the tempo and the pace of this fight, and I thought he should get the victory. Although I've got it scored closely because Carlos put up a terrific fight. He had a wonderful start to this match, but then he faded in the distance.
There you see the bruising under the right.
Yeah,
Carlos
the bruising there too.
Across the way, yes. Raise up on the cheek of Gennaro Hernandez.
Not even close.
Well, Gennaro said he didn't want to fight Carlos, but he seemed actually almost annoyed that Carlos wanted to have the fight, but Carlos felt that the opportunity was there. Gennaro said, well, I'm not going to be a stepping stone for him. I'm married. He has a wife, Liliana, a daughter, Amanda, and he was fighting for them here tonight. Let's go now for the announcement of the decision to Mark Barrow. Mark, if you will.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Marty Dinkins scores it 119-108. Judge Jen Kim scores it 119-108. Judge Chuck Hassett scores it 120-107 to the winner and WBC Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Gennaro Chicanito Hernandez.
No surprise that Gennaro Hernandez has retained his championship. The margin very wide. One judge, in fact, scoring it a shutout for Gennaro. And Famous getting a round or two on the other two cards.
Winning by a wide margin. That shows 3 good judges and good scoring on this fight. All of the judges almost agree.
And all is forgiven now after the heat of the battle. All right, Epstein is ready now with the fighters here. Let's go up into the ring with Hernandez.
Okay, thank you, Rich. I'm here with both these excellent combatants. On my left, the winner, Gennaro Hernandez. This was a match you said you didn't want because the two of you were friends, but you waged a very spirited battle. How do you feel now?
Well, I mean, I feel sad that, it had to come down to this, but, he gave me 100%, I put 100%, and the judges saw it my way. And, and I thank God that neither one of us got seriously hurt,
You were able to change the tempo of this fight completely in the 4th round when you stopped laying on the ropes and got in the center of the ring. Was that the key?
Well, the key was, I always knew that, if I could outbox Carlos, that would be a little more easier for me, but, unfortunately, he came 110+% in condition. He came in here to give me all he had, and I had to withhold him off and try to outbox him once in a while, but it's kind of hard when you got a good fighter.